Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the Universe of Chinese. We're going to continue our reconciliation. And in recent episodes, I've been focusing on this 12 socialist core values that were presented by a group of students. I mean, I said it presented, but brought to the public discussion about this 12 core values that were painted on the British famous graffiti wall that they whitewash, cover everything else, and paint these Chinese values over there. I mean, I shouldn't say Chinese values because these are all imported concepts that were translated into Chinese. But of course, like each culture will have its values that sort of you can map from this English concept to Chinese concept. And that's what we're doing here, to examine how things are translated, corresponding, how Chinese take this concept and embrace this concept by putting together a Chinese characters and to render the meaning for it. Okay, so today we're talking about 诚信. I believe we have talked about this before, but okay, it was used as one of the 12 core socialist values in there. So 诚 means honest, 信 means trust. They're kind of similar, right? Even in English, it probably looks like the same thing from like two sides of a coin. Let's unpack the Chinese. You can see they share the symbol. The two characters both have the symbol. And in Chinese, contemporary Chinese, they look different. That's because they got abstracted. They got simplified in that simplification process in 1958, I believe, differently. So this is more common simplification, just super simplify in that represents speaking. Okay, the reason why it represents speaking, later on I discovered, okay, this is the mouse symbol. So this box looking thing was up to the corner, that's the mouse. And then we have kind of two concave shapes coming down, connected with vertical lines. That is the tongue symbol. The reason why is because actually it's convex. Okay, convex with this vertical line connected, that means entering. It means from one space into another. And then the second horizontal line is an indicator. That means between this enter sign, the arch looking thing that represents original spacing. And then this piercing thing is where it's entering into. And the horizontal line placed on the new space, the new entered space. So the whole thing means it's entering, and actually it means to enter the space. So when it's pointing toward the mouse, it means it's entering the mouse and then pointing the location that's inside the mouse. So the tongue is inside the mouse because the tongue is mostly invisible to people, right? So we cannot really draw the tongue's shape. It's not representable that way visually. So we can only abstract it to mean it's inside the mouse. That's it. And then two horizontal lines, that is sound bites. So again, toward the bottom of the frame, that means closer to you. So the sound is louder. And then as it goes in space, in time, it's diminishing. So that's the organ to produce sound, and how the sound produce travel through time and space. So that's the speaking. Quite a mouthful. Okay, so this speaking symbol, now it pairs with two different things to create two different meanings. This one, there are two interpretations of what that means. So you see here a lot of sharp edges. That was weaponry from before. So ancient times, agrarian society, peacetime, they're farmers. Wartime, they turn into warriors, right? They were drafted to fight for the country. And these sharp, pointy things are such weaponry. So there are two, when they piece together, it sounds like Cheng. Of course, Cheng is the sound maker in here, right? And then the meaning of speaking plus this Cheng, this weaponry collection, create the honest concept. And so in later days, we have to see why. So speaking, we kind of can understand because both of them, the two sides of the same coin, have the speaking function. Because humans, when we communicate, we rely on verbal communication, right? And then there is a judgment on the listener or whoever is hearing that message to trust it or not, and to judge if that person, whoever is speaking, is honest or not, right? So this honest judgment packed with this weaponry collection. So there are two readings in there. One is weaponry, that means it's defensible. So defensible speaking means it's backed up by its action. That you can match what is said to what is done. That's honesty. Okay, the second reading is the weaponry collection means you have all the tools you need to do your work. But in this case, is to fight. So you have the tools ready to fight. And that readiness, that state of readiness, then facilitate you to accomplish something. So Cheng in contemporary Chinese also means finished, completion. So that readiness, that completion to be ready for war with this collection of weaponry, probably in ancient times, like to fight, you need to have a certain collection of weaponry. I don't really know the details, but with everything listed in there, everything visualized in the small space, I mean, it looks like a lot. That means then you're ready to fight. That means you can accomplish your fighting, at least equipped to fight. So that Cheng eventually means completion. So when we pair completion with speaking, it's like whoever said it's going to be done is going to finish it, right? So this saying versus doing, this saying versus completion of whatever is said, then combine together these two readings as honesty. So basically it can converge into the same as the speaking and the behavior can be reconciled. They match each other. It's not say one thing, do another thing. That's not honesty. So say one thing, do one thing. They overlap. That's honesty. Okay. And xin. Okay, so we have a person symbol over here. So this is a Chinese human symbol, two-leg standing thing. That's human. So human speaking. It's almost the language creator prompted us to recognize that it is human speaking. So be careful. You need to be discerning to trust it or not. And because there is this human speaking thing, then this trust, this concept of a trust or not, this is the context of whether the context of the trust issue. Because if it's not human speaking, there is no other things that's speaking, right? So it's between, like interpersonal. One speak, one hear. Do you take the words at its face value? So that's the trust. That's the big question. And I guess here the ren, two-leg standing being, there are different renderings of ren in Chinese character, and this two-leg standing ren probably means people who are upright, who do behave as the social norm, and therefore whatever they are saying, most likely the speech and the person can be overlapping. Like you can trust whatever that person is saying or not. So okay, so the trust issue came up with this human speaking. Okay, so 诚信 together means honesty. You see, speak truth. In English, this honesty definition also defined as what we're speaking versus what we're doing, right? So this person's internal, external intention versus verbalization, intention versus presentation, I guess, whether they overlap in a high degree. And that determines if you can trust that person or not, if that person is regarded as being honest or not. All right, catching to the frequency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.